Hello and welcome to Virtue and Virtuosity. I'm Stuart McSkimming. We've had 8 episodes so far in this season, and this would be the 9th, except I'm going to call this one a bonus episode. I'm not quite sure what a bonus episode is compared to a standard episode, but I'm calling it a bonus episode because it's a shorter episode and it's a slightly different format. Today's episode we recorded at the Charity IT Leaders Conference, which was a couple of weeks ago in mid-October. If you weren't there, this is for you to have a listen, to see some of the great content we had, some of the guests, some of the speakers, and hear a little bit more about the conference. So I really hope you enjoy this and stick on through to the end. It's only a short episode, and we should be back with a normal episode in a couple of weeks. I was actually going to end the season here. That was my original intention. But we've got so much great content here. So this season will probably go on for another few weeks yet, maybe right through until Christmas. We'll see how we go. Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed this episode. So, hello, we're here at the Charity IT Leaders Conference. It's the 25th anniversary, which is amazing. And I'm lucky enough to be joined by Jane Huntington again. Hi.
Hi, Stuart. How are you?
I'm really, really excited to be here, actually, because it's such a vibrant mood here and it's the biggest conference we've ever seen.
It is. It's really exciting to see lots of old faces, lots of people that have been coming to CITL conference for a while, but there's a lot of new faces here as well, which is great. And it's a really nice atmosphere, lots of great conversations going on and some brilliant presentations so far.
So that's what I've seen. The quality of presentations this morning has been great. Also, I've spotted, I think we've got something like 70 different charities here this year. Might not be quite 70. It's something like 70.
I think it's about 70. And I think there's nearly 200 people in total.
It's a lot. It seems like a lot. It's really big. So anyway, so the aim of today's podcast, we're just going to do a little bit here. Jane and I are here, and we're going to go around and we're going to talk to a few people. We're going to do a bit of live interviews. So we're going to talk to some of the people who are doing the talks. We're going to talk to some people who come to the first ever Charity IT Leaders Conference. They can tell us about it. And we're also going to talk to a few old hands.
And obviously part of the reason this conference happens is we've got some really good sector suppliers and some brilliant companies here that support all of our charities. So I think we should go and have a chat with some of those as well. We've got some new suppliers here.
Some new suppliers.
Well.
I think that some of the suppliers who are working within the sector have worked with a lot of charities and have got a lot of good insight into how charity technology works. So I think that's a brilliant idea, Jane. So stick around. We're going to chat to a few people and let's see how we go. We've now managed to grab James Myhill, who's just looked like he was popping out to go and get a drink or something like that. And we pounced on him because he did such a great talk earlier. We wanted to have a little bit of more of a chat about it. Hi there, James.
Hi, how you doing?
Really good.
I came along to your talk earlier and really enjoyed everything you had to say. I love, engagement is such an important part. I really agreed with so much of what you were saying. But what really struck me to start with was the statistics you shared about engagement when you started and when you finished. Can you talk to us a little bit about that?
Yes, of course. And I think when you start to investigate the power of engagement, you suddenly realize that it's not an optional activity anymore. It really is quite a profound impact on the productivity of your team, the attrition of the team, really the whole well-being around the team, and it matters to a lot of people. So I think statistics show that organizations benefit as much as teams and individuals by having a highly engaged team. So for me, the numbers speak for themselves.
And the numbers were really interesting. So you started off when you joined at about, was it 38%? And what's the number now?
The last score, we had a survey in April this year, and it was 94% of my team.
Wow.
So it's quite it took a few years. This wasn't like overnight, and that's part of the point we were making, is that it's small steps to get to a point of highly engaged.
I thought the other really interesting thing about the presentation and about the fact that you've paid so much attention to engagement is, that the team is now really engaged, and actually the trust that's now developed across the rest of the organisation for your team. I think it's something, I've certainly experienced is IT can quite often be the whipping boy of the organisation. And I think you've really changed that.
It feels like it. Yeah. Okay. I mean, you ask the rest of the organisation positionally, I guess from a perception perspective, but also from a and engagement and sort of the talking to IT as a partner rather than just a service provider within the organization, we definitely feel like we've moved on. And that has allowed, as you say, the conversation to change around just keep the things running to how can we work together to use technology to unlock what we want to do as an organization. And actually seeing that really propel the opportunities that we, a team, has had as well has made a difference. So we've had the investment, we've had the support, we've had the belief in us, which has then fueled the support for the business. So it's kind of worked for itself.
And can I chip in with a question as well? So when you started and you were at that really low engagement score, presumably it must have been that your team felt battered down, or your team felt they were fighting to stay above the water or something. Were they? Whereas now they must be feeling like, wow, we've really got this because we're really respected within the organization.
Yeah, I think that's probably part of it. I think their place in the organization was really unclear. And they didn't really feel that they could add to the value of the organization in quite the same way. So I think you ask the team now, they feel much more part of the organization, that we've got a purpose, we have a value, we can add to that rather than just being this back office team that just does things when they're asked to and responds when there are incidents. So yeah, it's really empowered the team massively. And that's shown every day in the way that we see my team behave to others to try and facilitate conversations and opportunities rather than say, it's not my thing and I can't help you there. And that has an effect organizationally because it spreads. If you act in a way, it then helps for others to see that, and then they start to absorb those qualities too. So it's quite a wide effect, I think.
And it's about the leadership as well, isn't it? It's that showing up every day.
Yes, it is. And I think I was chatting to someone earlier and they said, what did you do? What two things did you do? They sort of caught me afterwards. And I said, well, initially it's harder. So if you're joining a part of a team that's disengaged, you as the leader need to pedal quite hard to change that, okay? Because it's got to start somewhere and it has to start with you. You can't ask others to show leadership and to be engaged. You can't say be engaged. That doesn't work. So I think you have to work hard to make it happen and show that you mean it when you say it matters, because then the results speak for themselves. And that's where the being accountable shows, is that if you say you're going to do something, do it and then move on. Okay. So I think that's really important that leaders sort of, they walk the walk as well as talk it. So.
And the other thing I'm keen to know is what mix of sort of hybrid working do you have, or office working or home working? Because that can often make a big difference.
And I was interested in the effect as well. So it's interesting. We are a home working contract company. We shifted during the pandemic. We were all in an office all the time, as you were. Every now and then someone might work from home, to a complete home working contract. So we've all changed contracts, not just you can work from home for now, we might call you back. Everyone shifted. And so what has pleasantly surprised me is that post-pandemic, you think, well, there's a bit of a high, we've got this hybrid working, Teams is great, everyone's happy. But then there's a tail off of that team engagement because you think, well, you're losing human interaction. Our scores continue to increase. And that's probably because we've tried to pivot quite quickly, work out what else we need to do to pedal even harder to keep the engagement going, because you can't just do the same things. You had to do different things. So yeah, it's been interesting, but quite rewarding to see that it's continued to rise as well.
Thank you, James. And I like that because for so long we talked about, can we get that engagement when we're in a remote environment? And there was lots of skepticism, and that was why so much of the return to the office type thing happened. But you've shown it really can work if you actually work hard at it. You can get that working really well remotely.
Yep. And I think one thing to, I guess, reflect and add into that is that my team has grown from 21 to about 36 now. So it's not necessarily a small team. It's not the biggest team, but I guess in a way it feels like it gets harder the bigger the team gets, because your ability to directly influence engagement becomes less. But that's where your team come in and support it. So once everyone gets on board on the bus, if you will, of why engagement matters, and they feel it and see it, then it kind of fuels itself as well. So I think that's been a big part of it, is the team. And of course I would say that because I've got a highly engaged team, but that's the truth of it, is I've got a fantastic team, and they are what makes it. It's not a team, it's not an individual score, it's a team score.
Great. Well, thank you, James. And thanks for that. And any other thoughts just generally on the conference?
Yeah, great so far. I'm spending far too long talking to each of the sponsors, and I've realized I've got lots of stamps to go and get, but no, it's great. And every day is a learning day. So even talking to any other attendees or any of the suppliers. It's like making lots of notes, trying to learn from people, because you can always learn, you can always try and do better. So yeah, that's for me, it's a great part of that.
Thanks a lot, James. We'll let you get on your way now because I can see you're on the way somewhere. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hello again. So now I'm joined by Jason Mason from the Scouts Association.
Yep, absolutely.
And I've just nabbed him. We're in the middle of the drinks reception now. And I just thought it'd be really good to hear. This isn't your first conference. You've been here once before, I think.
Yep, last year.
And I was just wanting to hear a little bit about how you found today.
I was quite impressed with last year's, to be honest. So I was really looking forward to coming back and managed to get myself all 3 days booked on for the conference this time. But I'm really impressed at the quality of the presentations and the speakers. Really enthusiastic. All day I've just been kept entertained, informed, and it's just been so insightful the whole day.
And what's been your favourite moment from today's lineup, today's agenda?
It's quite mixed, actually. I think the opening presentation, so Helen managing to get through a power cut and keep us entertained and explain her background and the whole concept of transformation. But then right at the other end of the day, Perry doing his presentation and just coming from that real people perspective, it was so enlightening. But also the case studies. So some of our colleagues in other NFPs that have delivered some great case studies. James from the Canals Trust. I've probably got that slightly wrong.
No, it is. It's James from the, I think it's
Canals and Rivers Trust.
Yeah, we've spoken to James about his talk because it was a really good one. Yeah. So he's.
I was desperately trying to get some questions in, but he ran out of time.
Yeah,
so.
well, that's always it with these conferences. There's never enough time for the questions, and you think, I'd love to ask this, I'd love to ask this, and now that's why I feel so guilty dragging you away from the drinks reception when you could be asking lots of people questions.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll make up for it. That's fine.
Anyway, Jason, it's really good to have you along. And will you be here next year, do you think?
100%. This is we've been looking at budgets and subscriptions, and this is one that I absolutely refuse to cancel. I'll be here every year from now on.
Oh, that's fantastic. And try and bring along some team members as well.
Oh, they're coming tomorrow.
They're coming tomorrow. You've got two coming tomorrow.
I got them a bit excited today as well. I was messaging them during the day, telling them how good the presentations were. So hopefully it's as good tomorrow.
Fantastic. All right. Great to have you here, Jason. Cheers.
Cheers.
So now I'm joined by John and Phil from the National Deaf Children's Society, who did a talk earlier on today, which was absolutely fascinating. Hi, John. Hi, Phil.
Hello.
So it was. We had a lot of talks all around AI-based things today. Can you just tell us a little bit about what you were talking about in terms of the case study?
Yes, I can. So we were trying to show the practical side of the work that we've been doing in AI. And so we came along today with a demonstration of our public helpline AI assistant, who has been dubbed AI Susan.
That's a fantastic name. How did you come up with AI Susan?
So Susan Daniels was our CEO for 30 years and sponsor of the project, and she retired last year, so kind of named in her honour and with her permission.
Wow, what a legacy to leave to an organisation. You're immortalised as an AI agent. So can you tell us a little bit, what does AI Susan do?
So AI Susan is effectively a tool for our helpline officers, and it has multiple different use cases. So one of them is a knowledge assistant. So if a parent of a deaf child rings up and has some questions, their child's just been diagnosed, they don't know what to do, they speak to our helpline. Our helpline are fantastic subject matter experts, but they can't keep all of the information we could possibly have in their heads at any one time. So we had cases previously where people would say, I'll ring you back in 20 minutes. I need to go away and look into that, come back to them. So the knowledge assistant tool allows them to, on the call with the parent, answer the question first time rather than having to go back to them. It's also got a few other use cases. So we have a call summary tool, which effectively takes all the handwritten notes, hand-typed notes over the course of the call from our helpline officers, and uses our tone of voice and other guidance and prompts to shape that into case notes for our CRM to be much more effective. And there's a few other use cases too, but those are the main two we demoed today.
And what I really liked about your case study was the detail we got, that it was actually a real life case study, that you've gone in, you've trialed it, it's working, and you actually got something live now. It's not some theoretical case study or something you want to do. You're actually using it in a live environment.
Yes, and it had its own challenges, I think, because we did take something that was very much a proof of concept we worked on with a third party and tried to getting that into our own environment, getting people actually using it, production hardening it, I would say, has had its own challenges, and adoption as well, because, we had a couple of our helpline team who were really, really keen and really involved in the project and really champions of it. And we've had others who are a bit more tech averse, shall we say, have less digital skills or a bit more fear about use of AI. So we've kind of had to work on it from multiple angles.
That's fantastic. I guess my last question is, so people might be listening to this and they're thinking, okay, I absolutely have to come along to this conference next year and I want to do a case study. I want to be from my charity, talk about it. What motivated you to actually come up and tell people about this? What do you get from it?
I think there's a couple of things really. So I've been a member of CITL for quite a long time now, and I think it's one of the real strengths is the fact that you can very sort of openly share experience, the good and sometimes the bad, and so from that point of view, it's a very sort of receptive group for that. But but for me, I think if you come along and you share an experience of how you've got on, what you tend to find is that you'll then get other members of CITL, get the acronym right, coming up to you and saying, that's really interesting because I did such and such. And I've had 3 or 4 people who come up to me today and given me some really good ideas about what our next steps could be. And so, you cast your bread and it comes back. Great.
It's absolutely great, and that's what I love about it as well. It's a great forum for sharing information, which is something which the charity sector is uniquely placed to be able to do. That's absolutely brilliant, John and Phil. I've got Jane hanging around in the background. Do you want to ask any questions, Jane?
I don't think I've got any questions to ask, but I really agree with what John was just saying about charity IT leaders. Certainly from my point of view, when I moved into the more of the tech space and out of the fundraising side of organisations, charity IT leaders really helped me to build up my network and is still my go-to place to meet people. And I'm still meeting new people. And this conference in particular is a great place to come and meet people.
That's great. Well, okay. In that case, we'll wrap up with John and Phil, and Jane. We've got to go off and find some more people.
Let's go.
All right. Thanks.
Thank you.
So there you have it. That was the Charity IT Leaders Conference 2025, the 25th anniversary conference. And like all the best laid plans, we didn't end up doing any of the things that we wanted to. I wanted to go around and speak to some of the suppliers. There were some really familiar faces there, people we've seen at conferences year after year. I was going to mention the suppliers here, but if I mentioned one, I'd have to mention all of them. They were really, really interesting. Some of the suppliers that were involved in some of the talks, not many of them, but some of the talks. There was also lots of great chances to chat to them and hear about some of the technology advances and some of the work they're doing. But the biggest thing was the quality of the talks. Again, I wanted to talk to a lot more people there, but I didn't get a chance. Other ones that I didn't talk about, but I would love to have talked a little bit more about, were Helen Bliss did an amazing talk all about transformation. Lev and Ashok from the Salvation Army, also a great talk there, one of their case studies. There was several other people. There was too many to mention. Perry Timms, I think someone else mentioned him. He did a great one on the Organization of the Future. Colette Massodelano did an amazing talk all about what marketing looks like and how technology teams can work with marketing teams. Ryan Priest also did a great talk all about shadow IT. So that was the conference. The best thing about it was the networking opportunities, I'd say. As you probably spotted, I didn't do nearly as many interviews as I was hoping to, mostly because I was actually out there talking to people and hearing lots of fascinating stories about what's really happening in charities. So thanks again to my co-host Jane, who's been on this. I dragged her away from so many chats, so she could also be in on those interviews as well. It's been really great, and I hope you enjoyed listening to it. Thanks a lot. Bye. You've been listening to an episode of Virtue and Virtuosity, brought to you by VirtueChain, the AI consultancy for the charity and not-for-profit sector. Did you know that there is also a newsletter that goes with this podcast, containing news on AI and tech in the charity sector, alongside a podcast summary? You can check out previous copies and subscribe through the link on the Virtue Chain website at virtuechain.co.uk, or through LinkedIn, check out the profile of Stuart McSkimming, that's me, for the subscribe button to the newsletter.